too kind. You're too kind. Well, earlier this week, Steve Kerr did tell reporters that DeMarcus Cousins is expected to make his season debut around January 18th, maybe a little before, maybe a little bit afterwards. And yesterday, here's what Boogie had to say.
Is there going to be a flood of emotions for you, though? How much you've been waiting for this and how much, I guess, maybe perspective it's put into your game and the love of basketball?
It'll be a lot of emotions, honestly. And I don't think anybody could ever really understand this, and I don't really expect them to unless they've experienced it themselves.
Are you excited to play with Draymond, as vocal as he is on the defensive end of the floor? Are you excited to play with him?
I'm excited to play with everybody. I'm excited to be coached by the coaching staff. I'm excited to play in front of the fans. I'm just excited to play basketball again.
And we're all excited to see DeMarcus Cousins play for sure. Now, you know, when he was signed by Golden State and you knew about the ruptured Achilles and the surgery and all that, it was sort of like, all right, all-star break, maybe February, maybe March. We're here in January talking about DeMarcus Cousins coming back. How much of a win is that for Golden State to get him back in January rather than February or March?
It's an incredible win for this team. The rich get richer, and that's what's happening right here. When you look at DeMarcus Cousins coming back from this injury early, he's a big-time presence, big-time personality. So I think it's important that they get him in early because it's going to take a lot of time to work him in, for him to feel comfortable, and then there's going to be an adjustment period. So you want that adjustment period to happen as early as possible in the season, so going into the playoffs, everybody knows their role and everything's on one page and on one accord.
Yeah, and I look at it, and I like this for them, and I like it for Boogie Cousins because, you know, he has to be ready to go. He still has to test his injury, but I think for him is he won't be just thrown in the fire, and he has to be the number one option, the number two option. He has to rebound. He's playing with the Golden State Warriors. He can take his time, and they can have him on a minute restriction and also get a chance to build him up for what we all know when they really need him when it comes down to stretch in the playoffs.
So they've been 4 straight finals. That's a ton of extra games, maybe like a full season more in addition to 82-82, you know, over the last 4. So how critical is DeMarcus Cousins to lighten the load a little bit of the, you know, the core 4 that's been there, you know, most of this time?
I think DeMarcus Cousins is key because when you look at this team, they're missing that 5 spot this year. They're missing the little bit of pop that they would get last year from JaVale McGee. They're missing the young fella Jones. Those type of guys gave them a different dynamic that they don't really have right now, and they need to kind of find to get that back. DeMarcus Cousins isn't the same type of athlete to those guys, but he gives them a post presence, something that other teams have to game plan for. And the biggest thing I want to see is how will teams game plan them when they throw the ball into DeMarcus Cousins and then they start doing all that weak side action? Because they get the backdoor cuts and the threes when they throw it into Draymond, and Draymond isn't the post player that DeMarcus Cousins is. So what happens if DeMarcus hits a jump hook or 2 in a row? Do you come with a double? Where does the double come from? This is something that other teams have never had to worry about with Golden State. They can now actually produce offense from the inside out with a true big.
And you look at it, Brendan, I'm looking at it right now, is I got a chance to play with Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Clay and Steph and KD, those guys get a lot of threes off, like you said, Draymond in the post, split action, cut, moves, and they're all basically on the move. Now you're better to throw it in, and Clay can stand in the corner, KD can stand at the top, and Steph can be on the wing or vice versa. And now they're going to be shooting standstill threes because if you go double, he's going to kick it out because he's still a great passer at that position. Now for them to get a chance to get standstill threes, their percentage might go up even a little bit more, and they are great shooters.
Well, that's scary.
Because a standstill 3 is totally different off the run.
Clay and Steph's three-point percentage going up? Ooh,
let me say, Brendan.
I'm saying that's just scary to think about.
I was so open in San Antonio, it scared me. I led the league in three-point shooting at like 47%. So those guys, the way they shoot and they getting wide open shots, if he's demanding double teams, it could be real scary.
At 47.2, don't cheat yourself.
It's somewhere around there.
47.2.
I appreciate you.
At
.2, boy, could have got me some more money.
It could have. Hey, you got a lot of money. You don't need no more, man. You're good.